South Australia's best kept secret. Tucked away here in Tynesville, we have around about 1,300 students. Most of those are in the senior secondary, so they're here to complete their South Australian Certificate of Education in SUS. But alongside that, we also have a new arrivals program. So there's some, at the moment, 250 students here in an intensive English language program, and most of those students come from a refugee background. Some are migrants to Australia, but most have come from a refugee background. And we welcome so many friends that have come from Bhutan, who have a Nepali background, and they're a very important part of the Thebarton family too. Because we have such a culturally diverse community, probably some 52 different groups at the moment, and that is spread throughout the school, because many of our new arrivals then go on to SACE programs or trade type programs in our vocational education and training. And those students really came to Australia with a couple of imperatives. And the most significant one was to be able to live with their families in peace, because they had seen enough of violence and strife. And the other was to gain an education so that they could become independent citizens in our community. And to that end, peace building became fundamental to what we did. Certainly we had a very willing group of students that wanted to embrace that. But we were approached by Save the Children, a wonderful international organisation that many of you would have heard of, about becoming the first secondary school that was a United Nations school for global peace. And we jumped at that opportunity and did some work and became a UN school for global peace. So now at Thebarton we fly two flags in front of the school, the Australian flag and the UN flag. And we see that as extremely important. As you walk around the college, you'll see, we haven't actually decorated this just for your benefit. This is normal at Thebarton. So you'll see things like no war, peace, respect. Some are slogans, some are just words to remind people of what is fundamental to peace building and what's important in our community. So, without any further ado, welcome. You're not here to listen to me. But somebody who was fundamental in us becoming the UN Global Peace School is Joan O'Connor. And I'd like Joan to come and just have a few words now and introduce Yogi G, because she was also fundamental in bringing Yogi G to Australia. So, Joan, would you like to join us?
It's a great honour to be here, particularly because of the reason that we're here, which is to listen to the wonderful words of Dr. Yogi. It has been a lovely journey together, and now it's been a lovely journey, particularly with Thebarton Senior College and particularly with the University of South Australia, because we will continue this journey in Nepal. And so today, Dr. Yogi asked me to just do an overview of the programs that he has been instrumental in developing over the last 25 years. And just recently, the Hindu Veda School, which Dr. Yogi is the principal of, has just celebrated 25 years of values education, which is quite extraordinary. So I had the opportunity to go to Nepal in 2010, and I had been speaking to Dr. Yogi because we had been talking about the Global Peace School concept, which is all about values education. And then finally we got to meet, and after that Dr. Yogi said, please come back and work with me. So I went back in 2011 and spent a month with him in Nepal and had the most wonderful, inspirational time, and felt that that was my calling and that that was my future, and that I would do anything to get back there and support the work that Dr. Yogi is doing. So because of that, I think he helped me a little along the way and said, well, because of your commitment to Nepal, we'll actually make you the also gave me a project that I can work with on, and also to develop further with Dr. Yogi in many other things that we want to do together in the college. So it's a great honour to be here. So I'll just quickly share with you. This is the interfaith program that comes together at the Women's Ashram. And so the ashram is a beautiful place that is in Kathmandu. It was previously, and is, Dr. Yogi's home, where he has a little room up the top, and he's handed it over to the community. And so in that time, people come every single day, and we have literacy and numeracy programs in the morning for the women and children. We have life skills programs in the afternoon. We have a homework program run by the senior students of the school in the evening. And then Satsanga is prayer time and spiritual nourishment from Dr. Yogi once a month, where everyone comes together and sings and dances and chants. And so it's a magic place. This is part of the ashram. I'm on the floor, so all the children come together. Usually there's about 80 children of an afternoon from all different communities. So that's the study club. Here's the adult education class. So these are women who are disadvantaged from disadvantaged families and communities, who have often suffered abuse and will come along and be in this centre and be free to be themselves, to develop their own networks, and to make sure that they can be at peace and learn in a safe place. So all of these women are having literacy and numeracy skills here, and are taught by a teacher in the morning session. So going on from that, they have the skill base in the afternoon, so they're actually practically doing something. They are doing the life skills with the candle making, and they're also doing some sewing, and they're also doing some print making, and there's many, many other activities that they do. And they take that and they can sell that and bring some income to help their students get to school and educate their families and support their families. As part of the program, meditation and yoga class is particularly important, and this is also happening at school. So these sorts of programs are happening at Dr. Yogi's school, as well as the two other communities that he has, which is in Dum and where's the other one, Dr. Yogi? In the Kathmandu village, yes. So this is the school, and it has over 600 students, and every one of those students come from different backgrounds, different communities, very similar to this beautiful college of Thebarton. So there's a beautiful match there already. This is in the library homework club, and so they're getting down to studying and getting their homework done straight after school. And in the school, most of those children are actually supported by sponsorship from the US and UK. And the Shanti Seva Ashram support communities are being set up in those communities with the Nepalese communities. And so they support the work of Dr. Yogi and those children. Festivals is very, very important as part of the agenda, because in the Hindu communities you have a festival every day. So there's always something to pray about and to pray to. And so the children are very much a part of that culture, as to all cultures involved in that. So depending on what festival it is and what culture, it will be celebrated and acknowledged and respected. And then, of course, every year we have fantastic people coming for their gap years, and also coming to support the work of Yogi G. So they will come over for 6 weeks, or is it a whole term, Yogi G? I'm not sure. Okay. So they'll come over and they'll talk, and they'll not lecture, but they'll support the students in all their classes. And they give their time voluntarily, and they're from Cambridge University and from Oxford and from Harvard and from Durham University. So there's a wonderful exchange program that's been happening for well over 10 years, I think. And then this is the Eco Peace Club. So the children are very much a part of the environment and are very aware of what's going on in their community, and certainly wanting to do the best they can to look after the community they live in. And so they have set up an Eco Peace Club. And they're great activists, and they're great students for working towards peace through our environment. Seeds of Peace is another program. So these students get together and they actively work with and talk to other students and work out what they can do to build peace in a community that is not at peace. So the community of Nepal, if you know the history, has been constantly driven by upset and certainly by different things that are happening in community and politics in the Maoist community at the moment, and it makes things very, very difficult. So to live in a community like this, to be part of a community like this, is really life-saving for most of these children. And then the Thoughts of Youth. This is an extremely wonderful program because it really encompasses the children's thoughts about what they want to do for the future, how they're going to be ambassadors for peace, how they're going to share this story with other people in other communities, and how do they get out there in other communities to share their knowledge about peace building and restorative justice. This is a youth conference that has happened recently, but we certainly went to one when I was over there in September last year. This is actually taking part in the ashram, and it's getting together a whole lot of communities and a whole lot of peace builders from different communities to come together, and the youth have the day. So they run the day, they make sure that they have decision making on the day, and they make a plan together to make sure that they can continue the work and to support each other through their networks. And this is just coming outside and in a beautiful, beautiful community where Dr. Yogi's brother is the principal in Durham. So in Durham we have another community called Hindu Vedic Path Durham, and that has been our peace home. So the peace home is looking after the children and the orphans who have no families, who cannot afford to go and be educated or simply cannot afford to live. So all of these families have been given over to the peace home or whose families are no longer existing. And these children are taken in by Dr. Yogi's brother and family and looked after, and they're given a home, as well as they go to school every day. And then on top of that, they are learning trades, and then they're supported to get jobs in the community as they work through the school system. So it's quite a wonderful, beautiful place. The agriculture that happens here is all around them because they're on many acres of land. They have the vegetables and the fruits and the land to look after, and they actually are understanding what it means to be part of an agricultural community. And so that's it. So that's really just a little overview of the programs that Yogi G has developed. And so on behalf of Yogi G, I just want to say thank you to Thebarton Senior College for hosting this evening, and to Kathy Hammond, who is part of the University of South Australia program that we are developing together with Dr. Yogi to do some research. So without Kathy and without Thebarton, all this wouldn't happen. So I thank you both very dearly, to Peter and to Eva. And now I'd like to introduce Yogi G. So Yogi G has been a friend for over 5 years, and we finally met in 2010, as I said. And so now we're working together and building a community of peace-loving communities that we want to continue throughout all of the world, particularly empowering women and children. So I want to introduce this one man by saying that he's now become a great friend and part of our family. I want to say thank you to my husband Alan over here, because without his support, we wouldn't be able to sponsor Yogi G either to come here. So I'm very proud of having such a wonderful partner who's able to just say, just do it, and it all happens. So, so thank you, Al. So, to the Yogi G, so you have inspired us, you have inspired me, and you've inspired so many people in Nepal. When I followed you around for a month and saw the incredible work that you do, and the communities and the people that walk for hours to come and hear Dr. Yogi speak, it was think because your principles are all Gandhi principles, I think that's a great reward for you, but particularly a great honour for the people of your community to give you that honour, and I think that's just wonderful. So to you I say thank you for coming. I know it's a huge ask for you to come all the way to Australia, the first time ever, and we really appreciate it, and we really look forward to a great journey together. So thank you. Over to Dr.
We also excited also. Okay. Thank you very much. So nice. A very special namaste to join you, Helen ji, Dr. Katie ji. When I say G means respect. We all are respected beings. If you are ever upset, look at the mirror. Call yourself G. So why do you disregard yourself? Because until we don't respect ourselves, we can't respect others. So that's the way we.
Can you speak up a little bit more? A bit louder?
I can talk loudly. So I'm sorry for last few days I'm suffering my cough. So similarly my namaste goes to Kimji, Tiwaji, and all the good people of this Thebarton College. It's so nice meeting you all today. When you say namaste, namaste means it's not to the person, it's to the self, to the soul, to that consciousness which exists in every being, human being, non-human being. In every being, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jains, Sikhs, Buddhists. Why to go at the superficial level? Why not to go deeper and deeper and deeper? Why not to acknowledge the beauty which is hidden in every being? That's a given topic today, respect. Respect the soul, the consciousness, the quantum self, the quantum energy. We all are manifestations of same supreme soul. You can give any name. That could be cosmic energy, that could be universal energy, that could be Atma, that could be Chetana, that could be Brahma, that could be Ishwar, that could be Khuda, that could be called by any name, so that has no any name. That's why the Vedas say, Neti, Neti. The power which is beyond any words. The power, the light, which is beyond any explanation. So all are manifestations of same supreme power. I'm so happy to say namaste to you all. I came all the way from Nepal. Joanji, LNG, KTG, they all planned. And last time I had a chance, Kimji and Iwaji, they planned some programs. I had a very good time. I visited many classes. I'm very, very happy, friends. I feel I'm blessed. I have never celebrated Valentine's Day. But I promise I will celebrate now Valentine's Day every year. In Nepal, telling you frankly, this is a very new word for me. I think nowadays I have some friends from Bhutan in Nepali community also, I think they also agree with me. 10 years, people are familiar with this word Valentine's Day. So it is still more common in the young people. But today I don't see it. Except 2 or 3 young people. Look here. In Nepal, Valentine's is only for the young people, for the teenagers. I'm very happy. Diana ji, you came to celebrate Happy Valentine's Day. She is my very good friend's mother. So it's good. We need some good occasion to smile. We need some good reminder. And especially in Nepal, we have many good reminders. As you have Happy Valentine's Day. In Nepal, we have almost everyday festivals. Sometimes we make a joke, why there are only 365 days in a year? If you will have more days, we will have more festivals. That's why we do worship every time. We sometimes do dog worshipping day, cow worshipping day, tree worshipping day, sun worshipping day, moon worshipping day, frog worshipping day, snake, everything, just worship, worship, worship. And most importantly, we have mother worshipping day. We have father worshipping day. We have teachers worshipping day. Worshipping means appreciating. Worshipping means acknowledging. Worshipping means recognizing the importance of every human being and every non-human being. This whole universe is existing by the role, significant role of every single creature, no matter its very small form. That is also playing a very important role to maintain the ecosystem. So frog has to be worshipped. The snake, they seem very horrible, very scary, very frightening to us, but the snake also playing their role to maintain the ecosystem, to purify the environment, so the snake has to be worshipped. If you understand this worshipping system, no one will fight with anyone, no one will harm anyone, no one will damage anything. You enjoy the life. If you understand the principle of totality, if you understand the principle of oneness, we all are equally important in this universe. Human being, non-human being. Among the human beings, also American, European, African, Asian, black, white, and brown, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, all are equally important if you understand this fact. We just appreciate everyone. Why to compete? Why to compete? We are wasting our time and energy in the name of competition. We have forgotten cooperation. And especially the modern education that is teaching us only competition. We forget cooperation. That is trying to make us a doctor, engineer, professional, expert, IT expert, management expert. But the education is forgotten to build up a whole human. Yes, we need doctors, we need engineers, we need IT experts, we need management experts, but more than that, we need a whole human. How to produce that kind of a whole human? That's why we are working together for the last few years for value education, peace education. Last time I had a chance to speak same thing about value education, peace education. My friends, it's today such a lovely day. I want to speak many good things to you all. But you know this topic, love. Love is the only topic. Why you want to speak? In other topic, you have to speak. If there are other topics, speak. You bring formulas, principles, doctrines. But love is love. It doesn't need any words. I remember a story. People want to listen to the lecture of Buddha. In our philosophy, it is called Dharma Desana, preaching of Buddha. They all went, spent 4 hours, 5 hours. When they were coming back, they become so happy. Wow! What a beautiful speech. What a beautiful preaching. What a wonderful Dharma Desana. We have never heard this kind of Dharma Desana. about this kind of preaching. All day happy, all day preaching. But one young man becomes so annoyed, so disturbed. What nonsense you are talking? Buddha didn't say a single word. Buddha didn't say a single word. He just kept quiet, took the flower. Just took the flower, looking at the flower, hours and hours. Buddha didn't speak a single word. Just looked at the flower, gazing at it, hours and hours. And you guys say, Buddha said, what a beautiful speech. Buddha gave such a wonderful presentation. This young man became unhappy. But my friends, here is the problem. If your smile can speak everything, why do you need words? If your aura can express everything, why do you need logics? If your appearance can transform, why do you need the principles? So love doesn't need any words. True love is beyond the words. And nowadays you try to make it exercise. I love you, I love you. I love you, honey, I swear. If you love them, why do you swear? You see? Not marketing. And you can joke, I love you, I love you, I love you. People shout. And finally what happens? I love you. Love disappears. Remains only I and you. I love you. After a few days, few years, love disappears and remains only I and you, and I start attacking over you, and you start attacking over I. That's what happened in our business. True. I don't know what happened to my mother when I ran up to my mother from the airport. She's over 80. I said, I'm going to Australia, and just to say goodbye to her, I ran up to her. Then she said, okay, fine, go, take care of yourself. A lady who is over 80 years old, who has never been to any country, any cities, any other parts of the world, she said, okay, please say hello to my dear friends in Australia. Then I said, okay. Fine. But when I sat in the plane, again that came up in my mind. She said, please say hello to my friends in Australia. Then I asking myself, how many friends does she have? She doesn't know where Australia is. In Nepal, Nepali people know most of the time America. America is quite famous word in Nepal. We think sometimes every white people is America. Right? And say in Nepal, American. Oh, you are American? Yes. My mother, who has never been outside, she says, please say hello to my friends in Australia. True love is beyond the boundaries. True love is beyond any kind of condition. I think love is the only answer of this matter. Love is the only answer of all kinds of problems. Mahatma Gandhi, after spending his many years in South Africa, when he came back to India, he decided first to travel India, see what India is, why India is still having such kind of poverty, such kind of misery, such kind of slavery. So let me go and see what India is. He did a long journey all over India. And when he reached to Bihar, the most miserable part of India, when he reached Bihar, he saw ladies, women, who didn't have enough dress to cover their body. They didn't have enough clothes. And Gandhi came from South Africa, and he was from Gujarat. And Gujarati people have long kind of dress, they use, very heavy dress. Gandhi could not control himself. Tears started going down. One hand, we Hindus go to the temples, worship the mothers. We say Sita, we say Radha, we say Gauri, we say Parvati and Sakti. Even they can't cover their body. There was a time God took off his dhoti. You understand me? Dhoti, how to say? Lion cloth was covering the body. Like that. He took out that. He made 3 pieces. He made 3 pieces and then he declared, till every Indian doesn't get enough dress to cover up their body, I will also remain almost naked. You see the picture of Mahatma Gandhi almost naked? It's a storage dress. Till everyone doesn't get enough dress to cover up their body, I will also remain naked. And these poor innocent ladies, the villagers who were working like laborers, slaves, they said, oh, tu to Mahatma ho gaye re, tu to Mahatma ho gaye re, oh, you are a great soul, oh, you are a great soul. So since that time, his name was changed. His actual name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But these innocent ladies, they call him great soul, you are a great soul, you are a great soul, Mahatma. That is Karma. Our tears start rolling down, something goes wrong with our children. We cry, something goes wrong with our partner. But why not you feel connected with those people who are suffering just for a single piece of bread? Why not you get connected with those people, with those children who go to bed with empty stomach? Why not you get connected with those women who are beaten up by their wives? Why not you get connected with those mothers whose children were taken away by the Maoists or by the terrorists to fight in the field, in the jungle? We want to close the doors. This is me, my husband, my wife, my children. We want to limit ourselves. And one who wants to limit himself, limit ourselves, and want to have joy in the life, impossible. There is never joy, there is never peace in limiting yourself. By closing yourself in the room. Just by ignoring others. Just by closing the doors and windows. You can't have peace. Once you open the doors, embrace everyone. Embrace everyone. There was another great master in India, Swami Vivekananda, who said, Daridra Devo Bhava, Murkha Devo Bhava. Everyone who is miserable is like God, serve him. Everyone who is illiterate is like God, serve him. That's what Christ says, love your neighbors, not yourself. But you love reading the books. You love listening to those kind of preachings. But you forget to practice. My dear friends, there won't be any other gift in your life than love. It's only love. It's only love. I started my social journey when I was around 21 years old. After coming to Kathmandu city, I was born in a small village, in a farmer's family, working in the field, grazing animals, collecting firewood. But after coming to Kathmandu, I made some good friends. And I started another journey with them. Very good friends. They touched my heart. It is their love who nourished me. It is their love which gave me a path I walk. It is their love which gave me meaning of life. Started this school in the Thebarton College with 15 children. And slowly then we thought, let's go further. We started a project for the orphans, children's people. And then slowly, again we started again on the journey. We continued our journey. Then we started Santi Seva Ashram, Peace Service Center. In this Peace Service Center, in this ashram, a program for the children, program for the women, program for the old people, program for the disadvantaged people. There was a time I used to say I am working for Indian Vidyapith schools, working for ashram, getting attention in television, radio, and I do give speech in Nepal, regularly for television, radio. And I used to say, oh, I have done this, I have done this. I'm working for schools, I'm working for ashram, I'm working for Youth Society for Peace. I'm working for Nepal Interfaith Movement. But now slowly I realize I'm not working for these institutions. I'm working through these institutions. When I slowly realized I'm not working for Indian Vidyapith Nepal schools. I'm not working for Children's Peace or orphanage. I'm not working for this holistic center, Santi Seva Ashram. I'm working through. It means finally I'm working for myself. By working with the children, I get satisfaction. By working with these women, I get the purpose of life. By working with these underprivileged people, I get the joy of my heart. Every day becomes like a celebration. Every day becomes like a blessing. I want to do more. I want to live more. I want to breathe more. I want to keep myself fit and fine. Because I have to do something for them. So finally, no one does anything for others. Finally, we do everything for ourselves. So giving is the best quality in life. Whenever you get a chance to give, please give. No condition. No condition. Whenever you get a chance to give, please give. Giving is the best quality. Giving is the best opportunity. Giving is the best blessing. You see the nature of giving, giving and giving. And you give one seed to the earth. Single seed to the earth. The earth will give you back thousands of seeds. Thousands of seeds. And I think I'm getting now back. The children are given to Lord. The children, they come to the ashram in the daytime for around 3 hours, innocent ladies. They come and study ABCD, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha. Age-wise, they are 60 years old. This class, grade 1. I feel I'm blessed. They come to ashram to give me blessing every day. I remember a few days I was studying of this women. They were sometimes beaten up by their husbands. One day used to become drunk at the night. But nowadays the husbands have become quite gentle and good. They say, oh, it's time to your class. Please go, please go. I will take care of things. I will take care of children. The relationship with their husbands is changing. And the children who go to their school, they sometimes, ignore their parents if they are uneducated. Oh, mom, you don't know anything. Mom, see, they ignore. But nowadays, the children become more positive towards mom because the mother, she also knows. She is educated. Relationship between children and parents, that is changing. Even I remember one more good story. One lady was telling me, her son had stopped going to the college for more than 2 years, 3 years. But this lady who is around 55 years old, when she started coming to the ashram in the day class, adult class, the son came one day, he said, Mama, I'm so sorry, I did a mistake. You still go to the ashram to study at the age of 55? left going to college. So I will start again the college. So this man has again started going to college. So these kind of beautiful stories. My friends, I am telling all this because it is all love. It is all love. Love is the greatest message. Love is the greatest religion. Love is the greatest philosophy. Love, nothing else. In our term, it is called bhakti. Love means bhakti. When your love becomes very unconditional, when your love becomes very pure, very high, when you reach at the highest level of love, purest level of love, that love is changed into bhakti. That's why in our philosophy, there is a book called Gita. Bhagavad Gita. One of the main teachings of Bhagavad Gita is bhakti. Bhakti. It is the place of love. It is the place of goodness. You want to be smart? You want to be successful? You want to be very professional? You want to inspire people? Okay, follow your mind. But you want to be with yourself, and if you want to love, follow your heart. And we never follow our heart. Never listen our heart. We just listen our mind. And mind has lots of logics. Mind has lots of logics. You have done something very wrong. You have done something very wrong. There also your mind will tell you, no, it's okay. Very wrong. There also mind will tell, okay, no problem. There are many people doing worse than this. Go ahead, no problem. Your mind will try to protect you by giving you bad suggestions, by giving you logics. Mind will try to encourage you to win others. Oh, listen to your mind. But you don't listen ourselves. Please listen ourselves. That's why the spelling of heart is H-E-A-R-T. H-E-A-R. Here is the heart. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a very beautiful verse. Sloka. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya yantrarudhani mayaya. Listen to our own heart. There should be some time in our life. We listen to everyone. We listen to the radio. We listen to the television. We listen to the newspaper. We listen to friends. We listen to our partner. But how to listen ourselves? How to listen ourselves? There is a question, how to live productively or beautifully? How to live productively or beautifully? If you just want to live productively, follow your mind. If you want to live beautifully, follow your heart. Or if you want to live productively also, beautifully also. If you want to live productively also, beautifully also, you must be balanced. Buddha says balance. Balance is life. And the same balance is given another word in Bhagavad Gita 5,140 years ago. That word is called samatha. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatha. And same philosophy was given by Guru Gorakhnath around 2000 years ago. That is called Sahajai Rahim. So how to make a balance? My friends, if you have been to Nepal, I think many of you have been to Nepal. You have seen Nepal have many difficulties. We have no proper roads, no proper schools. Many children don't have good clothes. Too much suffering. Too much suffering. But as I say, they don't have bread, no butter, no bread, no water, no shelter. But they have good smile. And there is a question, how could one smile in spite of having nothing? How could one smile even in the terrible physical difficulties? So Nepal is a country which is physically very poor. Physically very poor, but is spiritually very rich. So in a country like Nepal, children are suffering. Many others are suffering because they have nothing. But in a country like America, Australia, Europe, there is another kind of suffering. In Nepal, children are worried they have nothing to eat. And here, when you open the fridge, they become confused what to eat. So having too much is another problem. Having nothing is one problem. Having too much is another problem. How to make it? How to make it? One has nothing, that is one kind of extremism. Other has too much, that is another extremism. And sometimes when we have too much, when we have too much attachment with the materials, we can have real joy of mind. Therefore, I request you, please come to Nepal. Please visit Nepal. Please see those people who have nothing but still smiling. Please meet those people who are working very hard with hope. With hope that one day their life will be changed. That's my friends Joan, Helen, Kathy. They have started a mission. I don't know how to say thanks to you. This mission is for love. This mission is for humanity. And that's why I'm here. They invited me to Australia the first time. I'm not a tourist. I'm like a sadhu. I'm like a monk. Just helping, serving. But when I get the chance to meet people like you, when my friends invite me, that takes my heart. This kind of occasion, this kind of gathering becomes a blessing for my life. Because I have to do a lot back in my life. For the children, for the children, for these poor people. So by meeting with people like you, oh, they don't know Nepal. They haven't seen Assam. They don't know these people. But look, you might be Hindu, you might be Muslim, you might be Buddhist, Christian. But look, love is beyond the boundary. That is proved again and again when I meet people like you. Love has no boundary. And love shouldn't have any boundary. Why should I love only Hindus being as a Hindu? That's selfishness. Why should I love only Nepali being as a Nepali? Why should I love only Asian being as a Asian? That is is purely selfishness. When I love only Hindus, only Nepali, only Asians, it means I am making a limitation. And whenever I am making a limitation, I cannot have joy in my life. I must go beyond these boundaries. Because love is always selfless. No selfishness. No selfishness. It is beyond everything. One has to break every barrier. One has to go beyond that barrier. That's why in our philosophy we say, love is the manifestation of wisdom. True love is the manifestation of wisdom. And what is wisdom? Wisdom means knowing that the whole universe is the manifestation of same soul. The whole universe is the manifestation of same supreme consciousness. We just differ from the body. Inside there is same light, same divinity, same consciousness. That's the reason. There is no dualism. There is nothing like two-ness. There is only oneness. No dualism, only non-dualism. So that's our philosophy gave the word Brahma. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahma Yanasa. Suppose you are standing at the center and there are mirrors around you. If you are standing at the center and there are mirrors around you, how can you scold someone? How can you point out someone? How can you abuse someone? You are reflected everywhere. You are reflected everywhere. You are just standing at the center. So this is all reflection. This is all reflection. Right. There are 3 steps of education, I think. The first step of education is learning. Second is understanding. And third is realizing. Learning, understanding, and realizing. And many of us spend our whole life just for learning. Just learning. Okay, you start the journey with learning. You go to school, you go to college, you go to university, learn different subjects, science, maths, English. Learn different techniques, computer, drama, drawings, songs, poetry. But after learning, there is one more step of understanding. I think that step of understanding is called wisdom. That is called Jnana Yoga. Wisdom, understanding. Understanding that the whole universe has same power. Understanding that all the differences, whatever we see, that is all illusion. Understanding that there is only one truth, there can't be two truths. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti indram yamma tariswanamahu. Understanding that we all are connected with the same philosophy of spirituality. So learning, understanding, and then realizing. I think this realizing is called love. This realizing is called Bhakti Yoga. When you realize, you enjoy more. When you realize, you celebrate. You celebrate every moment. When you realize, you start dancing. You start dancing. That is the greatest realization. Now you have no barriers. Now you have no any kind of confusions. Now you have no any kind of illusions. You see the whole universe is the manifestation same God, then you love Him. If you could encourage people, if you could motivate people with this kind of philosophy of love. But our education system can't give us this kind of feeling of love. Our political system can't give us feeling of love. Our whole total society, which has become consumer society, that doesn't give us this kind of love. So we go and fight. In a country like Nepal, what a beautiful country. What a great philosophy. What a great message of the sages. What a great teachings of our scriptures. Even that country also suffering by the Maoist problem. Extreme violent community. Killing each other. Fighting with each other. People are divided. You are Brahmin, you are Newar, you are Guru, you are rich, you are poor. You belong to that region, you belong to that region. People are encouraged to fight with each other. But again, it's the time we should promote the message of value-based education. Promote the message of peace education. Promote the message of spiritual education. Let people know it's only love. It's only love which can solve all our problems. Love is the highest positive energy. Love is the highest positive energy. One who has the true feeling of love cannot become negative. It's the highest positive energy. And nowadays many problems, health problems, many other problems. That is all the outcome of the negativity. Nowadays I think scientists also says that more than 75% diseases are our mental problems. Because of our mental problems. This is all because of negativity. If you start loving, all negativity disappears. All negativity disappears. I think the first love which you learn as a child, that is for the family, for the human being. The first love. And second love, you are slowly grown up. After you are slowly grown up, the second level of love is for the animals. Dogs, other cattle. And then again you go further. Third love, that is for the plants around us. Just at your courtyard, just beside your room, just beside your house, you start loving the plants. The first love for the human being, and second love for the animals, and third love for the plants. And then you go further. Not only the plants which are giving me benefit, not only the flowers which are in my garden. You go further, then that comes to love for the nature. You start loving air, start loving sun, you start loving moon, the whole nature. Now you are slowly open. Now you are floating. Now you have expanded yourself. You love the sun, you love the moon, you get all the light, you feel some kind of connection. Wow. That is. We say, I love you, I love you. I will die without you. Why don't you say it? By looking at the flower, I will die without you. Look at the moon, look at the sun. I will die without you. The youngsters say, Mani, I will die without you. Sometimes, okay, words also makes an impact to give someone positive energy, to bring someone in a close relationship. You can use those words, but in reality, we die without plants, we die without air, we die without sun, we die without earth, we die without air. We die without the nature. So first love for the human being, mother, father, other things. And then to the cattle. And you go further to the plants. And you go further to the nature. And then finally to God. I am saying only God. That God will be Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus. That God will be Ishvara, that God will be Brahma, that God is cosmic energy. So one has to upgrade. The final, purest, highest love for God. But what's happening nowadays? The love is going, expanding from human being to cattle, then from cattle to plants, then plants to nature, and then God. But we are still limited. Few of us limited here. Only loving our family, only loving our partner. If you go further, limited. So why to limit? Go further. And if you can't love God, again another principle. If you can't love God, you can't love your family also. These both are interconnected. When I say God, my perception of God is quite different. I tell you mostly Mahatma Gandhi, that will make it more clear. Gandhiji was traveling to England. And he was asked, Gandhiji, do you believe in God? Yes, I believe. So what kind of God do you believe in? What kind of God do you believe in? Gandhiji, look for me. God is not a principle, not a person, but only a principle. They become surprised. Gandhi said again, for me, God is not a person, but only a principle. So what is the principle? Then Gandhi said, truth is God. Love is God. Peace is God. Joy is God. That's why in the Pilot we call Satchidananda Bhagavan. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Truth is God. Whenever you are on the path of truth, you are with God. Whenever you are having a deep feeling of peace, you are with God. Whenever you have a very true feeling of love, very true, you want to break all the barriers, you want to help everyone, you want to embrace everyone, you are with God. No need to follow temples, no need to follow churches. It doesn't mean you should ignore them. It doesn't mean you should disregard them. But if you have true feeling of love and peace, if you have true wisdom, if you have that true realization, you don't need to go any church, any mosque, any synagogue, any temple. Finally, one has to make his life like a temple. Without going to any temple, you can worship gods. And me, trying to worship those gods in Hindu Vidyapiti school. I have little tiny gods and goddesses, around 1500. And an ashram, around 60 women. These all are gods and goddesses for me. When I meet them, when about 27 years ago. I had a dream to make money, have a name and fame, to become famous, have my comfortable life. Because I was born in a farmer's family, so that was the expectation, and take support of the family, help my brothers and sisters to go to school. But after coming back into, there was some different call. Then I chose this path. Why should I be with only my family? Why should I limit myself just by taking care of this 5 people, 10 people? Why should I use my knowledge only getting money, making money, having luxurious life? Then I chose this path of service, voluntary service. And these last 26 years become like a blessing for me. Many difficulties, but again I say, difficulties are also blessing of life. I can say difficulties give me the best teaching of life. No salary for the teachers, no good food for the children, no other good things. And especially I remember running this school. Sometimes I used to mix water in the milk to the children. We used to buy, I'm telling a story around 23 years, 24 years ago. We used to buy, I think, around 10 packets of milk to give to the children. And sometimes we used to buy only 9 packets and mix some water. And then children used to know it. They call me head sir. But children were so good. I feel so much grateful to them. They never raised any voice against me. They used to say, head sir, I mixed water. They never raised any voice. You have mixed the water in the milk. Rather than pointing or towards me, just very sad. What am I doing? I'm teaching my children truthfulness. I'm teaching them honesty. I'm teaching them values. I'm teaching them the relationship between teachers and children. Just like a relationship, the purest relationship. But I'm doing something wrong. That is to be missing. That used to make me very heavy heart. After 9:30 came, when I used to go to bed, I used to cry. Read the books for a while, and then cry. I did something wrong today. But I was forced to do that. I had no money. But still, those children, when I meet them, I remember another story. The house owner used to come to get the money at the end of the month, the rent of the house. Immediately, just the month is finished, he will come to get the rent of the house. And if I could see him, he's coming there, and I'm in the office, I'm working, and I could see him, then I used to call someone, go, tell him that. This one, that, head sir, they call me head sir. Head sir is not here, please come tomorrow. Because they had no rent. And this old man used to say, and I used to go and hide in the toilet. And this helper would go and say, head sir is not here today, he has gone outside for meeting, he will come tomorrow. And this old man also disappeared. And then I'm hiding in the toilet. The helper said, head sir, he has gone, come back now, he will come tomorrow. Then I come back to my office and breathe, oh my God. Oh, I'm sick today, I have no rent, how to give him? Anyway, he will come tomorrow. Then at least I got one more little thing. I sit and breathe in the office, and this old man appears, hello sir, namaste. He that every time whenever I come to ask the rent of the house, he goes to the toilet. So these were the days. I'm telling you these days just to share my story, but actually I feel really happy. One of the greatest blessings which I have got in my life, that is from my parents. I was telling you last time to you. My father and mother both are uneducated. Father passed away. But if I have to say from where I learned the Jnana Yoga wisdom, I would say very confidently, that is from my father, who gave me the greatest message of Jnana Yoga wisdom. And my mother, who is illiterate, and who could write hardly 3 letters, Re, Va, Ti. She gave me the highest message of Bhakti Yoga. So they are like saints for me. After that, my elder brother is a wonderful man. He gave me very good support. And I met friends, very good friends. I really appreciate them. And I always accept friends as blessing of life. No matter they are Christian or Buddhist, Hindu or Muslim, Asian or Australian. I met Joanji just few years ago. Okay. I don't want to close the rooms. I don't want to close the doors of the meetings. I want to liberate. I want to embrace everyone. I want to accept everyone. Because what I believe very strongly, we all have same divinity, same Brahma, same power, same cosmic energy. You call it ecocentrism, you call it biocentrism, you call it Gaia theory, you call it quantum energy, whatever. If you all feel that, now I want to share a few simple tools to make our life more loving with your partner. Few simple tools. Whenever you are angry, whenever you are upset, please breathe slowly, deep slowly, and if possible, say Om Namah Shivaya. If it is a long mantra, that's it. If you have some kind of negativity, some kind of pressure in the mind, some kind of emotional problem, before you go to bed, just raise your hands. Release your emotions. Because if you have very heavy heart, if you have negativity within you, you cannot love. Lovers should have only purity. Lovers should have only positivity. Lovers should have only creativity. That's it. People went to the church. Oh God, I love you. Oh God, I love you. God came into the dream. Do you really love me? Yes, I do. I go to the church. I go to the temple. God said, So why do we become so negative yesterday? If you really love me, why did we become so frustrated yesterday? If you really love me, so why do we have so much ego? Love means no ego. If you have ego, you can't have love. You can get love. You want to get love and grab love. But if you have ego, you can't. That's always like a joke. It's ego which doesn't work. It's ego, and it's the only one letter in this alphabet. Only one letter. One word with one letter. That is I. One word with one letter I. If you say I, you will be single. If you say I, you will be isolated. If you will say I, you will be separated. And people who have I, they can have love. To have true feeling of love, purify yourself. Harmonize yourself. Have long breathing and deep breathing. And if you have time, I would like to have a very quick practice. If it is okay, one quick practice. There is a mantra in the Vedas. It says Soham. Soham. Sa, Aham, Soham. Sa, Aham, Soham. That is me. Look at the moon. That is me. Look at the plants. When you breathe in, sa, sa. Feel connectedness. Because of my chest pain, I haven't been to the sea many times, but there was such energy that encouraged me. I went to this. Look at the sea. That is me. To have true love, you have to open up yourself. To have true love, you have to go beyond the boundaries. No limits, no boundaries. To have true love, you have to have purification. And purification can be achieved by this practice. When you breathe in, so when you breathe out, can you play do? So now you look at the eyes. Please, you can do it with your friends now. Please come. Happy wedding. Happy Everybody please stand up. You can do as much as possible. Very easy. When you say soft, you hold someone's hand. When you say that is me. That is me. That is me. Please do it with more friends. No barriers. That is me. But ask please. No barriers, no conditions. Just appreciate everyone. So my dear friends, life is too simple. But I think rather than expecting a long life, we should pray for better life. Beautiful. I sometimes ask questions to my students, what do you want? Bigger or better? Sometimes the children they ask, they say all of them bigger. I think in America also, I don't know more about Australia. This is the first visit I have been in America many times. If you ask them, what do you want? Bigger. But it's a question. What do you bigger or better? Many people know art of living, but only few people know art of life. And if we know art of life, we will have peaceful life. Until we don't try to educate the art of life through our value-based education, there will be hatred, there will be jealousy, and there will be attacks in many other two towers of the world. No towers will be safe in this world if we don't promote love, if we don't promote art of life through value-based education. So my friends, life is a beautiful gift of God. Just love it. But please, love it. True love. Don't get attached to it. Attachment is one thing. Love is other. Love it as a gift. Take care of it as a gift. But don't get attached of it. Just say, God, thank you so much. You gave me this beautiful body. I will utilize this beautiful body for good purpose. Serving humanity. This is such a good vehicle. I will utilize it only for good purpose. And never again attached of it. I'm really very happy meeting you all. I'm very, very thankful to to live outside Nepal, live in Australia. And second thing, in Australia, I also live in Adelaide. And I said, why? Then they were saying, Australia is a country, multicultural country. People are very open-minded. People are very civilized. People are very positive. They pay respect for all the culture, all the community. It's a very different kind of love. And the respect for Aboriginal community is very high in Australia. So that has taken a heart. So I will go back to Nepal with many good messages. How can I give respect to the Aboriginal community? How can I give respect to all the culture and community? So I will have many good stories to share back in Nepal. So once again, Kimji, thank you so much. Ivaji, thank you so much. Joanji, Alanji, Kathyji, and all your friends. Jennyji, nice meeting you after having a long email conversation. Good evening, Kathyji, everyone. And many friends who are going to Nepal, we are going to Nepal, many of our friends. And my friends from Bhutani, Nepali community, and Nepali friends. Thank you so much. And it will be a great honor to welcome you on Nepal. And I have another time of celebrating Valentine's Day in Nepal. Why only one day? We should have Valentine's Day every day. Not every day, every minute. And every second. Every second, that kind of love. That kind of Valentine's Day. Love is love, while at every moment. Like and love, two words are there. You can say like and dislike. I like this. You can say I dislike this. I like words. I dislike. Like can be changed by another word. Like and dislike. But now I do not dislike. So now I can know it is love. So please love every moment. Love every single moment. And most importantly, love your own people. Know it is love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yogi, for sharing with us this evening. And I guess in true teacher style, there's a little bit of revision before you go. Work through, not for, that unconditional love and follow your heart. And find balance between living productively and beautifully and have your own mission for love and humanity. So thank you for sharing everything with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending tonight. If you would like to hear more of Yogi Ji and support his wonderful work in Nepal, Joan has some CDs, I believe, of his that are at a modest price of $10, and I'm sure Joan can provide you with them, and proceeds will go towards the wonderful work that's happening in Nepal. So thank you all for joining us here at Thebarton. Thank you so much, Dr. Yogi, for being so willing to share your wisdom with us, and we in turn will go and search for our own wisdom. So thank you very, very much.